and I thought maybe I would attempt to go live while doing it. However, my cat wants to rub into my face and put cat fur on my lips. It's not about not being cis. It's about the rejection of the adjective, the reasoning or lack of reasoning tends to be rooted in transphobia. There's really not a valid reason for someone to reject an adjective that actually describes them. Can you see my ring? I need to clean it. It looks a little dull. Why is it so blurry? I don't know. This is such an old background. Hello everybody. If you guys can hear that, I'm in my kitchen. I don't know why it sounds so loud, but it does. Hello? Abby? Hello? Okay. What time is it? I don't know, 8 something? It is 8 something, 8:42. Okay, cool. Hello?
Hi, so it says if you're not cis, you're transphobic.
Yeah, but it's color coded, so it says if you're not cis, you're trans, as in you're one or the other.
Wait, I'm confused. Can you, I'm not trying to argue, I just want you to explain.
So it said if you're not cis, you're trans, you're one or the other. Trans or cis, one of the two adjectives will describe you.
Okay, so.
Right, and if cisgender describes you and you reject that, your reasoning tends to be rooted in transphobia.
I just consider myself a woman, though. I don't consider myself a cis woman.
So are you like, do you have any other adjectives that describe you? Like, are you a short woman or a tall woman or an average woman?
I'm short. I'm like 5'1".
So am I. So if somebody said, like, if you were talking about being short, right, compared to someone who's tall, right, would you say, well, I'm not short, I'm just a woman?
No, that's completely different, though.
Well, it's not, though, because it's just an adjective. Do you even know what cisgender means?
I do from TikTok.
Okay. So
it means you're a woman, like you were born a woman, and that's how, I don't know how to explain it.
You were assigned female, so it has to do with the relationship between your sex and your gender. So it means you were assigned female at birth and you identify as a woman. It means both things at once. It's the opposite of transgender.
But what if I don't want to be called that and I just want to be called a woman?
So it's not about being called it, right? It's about recognizing that adjective does describe you.
I was in a live where I got because I said transgenders and they were all coming at me because I said transgenders, and they were like, oh, don't put us in that's disrespectful to the trans community. I don't understand how that was disrespectful.
Well, if you just say transgenders and not transgender people, that's dehumanizing, but that's a different thing.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
It'd be like calling you a cisgender, right? And you're like, I'm not a cisgender, you are a cisgender woman. right? We don't, or calling
That's
you
like
a
pretty much the
short.
same thing, I feel like.
If they just said, well, you're short, right? You'd be like, what? I'm a short woman, right? It just doesn't make sense. You're just describing people by the adjective. That's why they corrected you on that.
Oh, okay. All right, I was just clarifying.
Yeah, we don't just call people by their adjective.
I mean, if you want to be a woman, then I would just call them a woman. I wouldn't call them a transgender woman or a cis woman. I would just call them a woman.
Well, it depends on the context, right? Because if my transgender daughter and I go to the store, we're just women. Well, she's a girl, but we're just women and girls going to the store, right? It's not a big deal. But if I'm talking about legislation against her, like and how she lost, health care for being transgender.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
I didn't know that. She lost health care because of that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So cisgender people aren't losing health care, right? That's why we use those adjectives. That's it. Just in certain conversations.
I've never heard that. That's crazy. She lost health care because of that. I would assume like she would have health care because of that.
No, there's 22 states where they banned gender affirming care for transgender children.
Well, I don't think any child should have gender affirming care until they're old enough, like, to make that decision. Like, your brain's not fully developed until you're 25 years old, so I don't think anybody should be putting anything into their body until they know exactly.
Okay, do you put any other types of medication into your body before the age of 18?
Not unless I need it, like if I'm sick or something.
Of course, right? So we're not talking about giving gender affirming care or any type of medication to any children who don't need it.
So how can you say that they need it if, like, how do you know they're not confused though? How do you, like, why would, like, for instance, like you would start them on like medications to, like, testosterone or something like that, but like what if, like, that's not the right decision they want to make?
So you don't do that step first, right? You don't just put a kid on testosterone. They have to go to therapy, right? There's therapy requirements.
So now I'm confused because if it's not like a mental health issue, why would they need therapy?
It is a mental health issue. When a child gets any type of medical gender affirming care, they have to have a gender dysphoria diagnosis. You cannot get any type of hormones or puberty blockers without that diagnosis.
Okay, because I've been in like different lies where they said it wasn't a mental health issue. So like,
being trans is not a mental health issue. Having gender dysphoria is a distress-based disorder that needs treatment.
okay.
They're separate things.
Okay, I was just a little confused. I'm trying to educate myself more in this transgender community, so.
So you can be transgender and not have gender dysphoria. And if you are a child in transgender and don't have gender dysphoria, you can't get any type of medical care beyond therapy.
Okay.
So gender dysphoria has clinically significant symptoms that affect your ability to function in daily life. And the children who have gender dysphoria deserve some type of treatment, whatever that treatment means for them.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Oh, all right.
Well, nice talking to you.
All right, have a good day. Okay, whoops. I'm not gonna get anything done if I'm here by myself. Let's see.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, sorry, I messed up earlier and we hit the wrong button. I got us cut off. I apologize. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Somebody made like a horrible threat in the comments, so I was.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I just have a couple of things to say, and then you can, educate me or tell me, your thoughts afterwards, if that's all right with you.
Mm-hmm.
I am far from transphobic. I don't personally live that lifestyle, but I don't condone those who do, only the ones who promote it to children, the ones who, and that's not all. It's very few amount, I believe, that try to really push it on kids. And when the adults that are mentally ill that really try to push it on kids, I think the majority of the trans community that I have personally met, they are not that way at all. They're highly against that.
What do you mean by pushing it on kids? What?
It's a very small percentage, but I have seen, a lot of, I've watched a lot of content. I've read a lot of things, and just mostly like watching content where I feel like they're targeting children. Like I said, it's a extremely small percentage of them that do that.
Gender affirming care for children, or trying to talk about educating children, that's not targeting them.
Well, the thing is listen, okay, I have a huge age gap difference in my children. I have a millennial child, a Gen Z, and a Gen Alpha. I have an 8-year-old son. One day he tells me he wants to be a fireman. The next day he wants to be a soldier. The next day he wants to be a doctor.
Sure.
I'm in the medical field. I have, several degrees in the medical field and psychology and things like that. And I do understand that, our brains aren't fully developed until they are 25 years of age. And I don't think, I think that there's a lot of, like I said, kids, they don't know what they want. I mean, they're little, like when they're babies, notice like as 1 or 2 years old.
We're not talking about children like knowing what they want to do for a job or for a career.
Okay, but that's my point though, is that kids don't know. They change their mind constantly because their brain.
Have your kids changed their mind about their gender identity?
Yes, they do.
Oh, really?
Because, I was trying to get to the point is I've raised several little boys very young who would want to walk around in high heels, but guess what now?
So what?
They ride in the rodeo. They're all boys.
That doesn't mean that they're girls walking around in high heels.
No, but what I'm saying is at a very young age, children do not know. That is something that is.
I asked if your children know their gender. You said no.
No, my child definitely knows their gender. He knows he's a boy.
Right. Well, how come he can know that before he's 25?
Because he looks down and he knows what he.
Oh, okay. That's not even funny. What's up, Javon?
Hi. I just had a question for Abby.
Go ahead.
When you say that something is being pushed on kids, can you be very clear about like how is something pushed on them? Like, I just want to know the process of pushing something on kids.
Yes, and like I said, I want to be clear that I'm not against the trans community whatsoever. The majority, I know a lot personally. They're very kind people. They don't target children.
Okay, you're not answering.
I'm trying to get to it. I have seen
children
many,
are also part.
I have seen
really quick. Children are also part of the trans community. Just saying.
And children are also, their brains aren't fully developed, and so they're confused.
Well, your brain never stops developing, so no one's brain is technically fully developed.
As a child, like I said, like I was given an example. One day my son wants to be a firefighter, the next day he wants to be a police officer, a soldier, a doctor.
Yes, kids play pretend.
Exactly, just like they would.
But hold on. The question I asked, Abby, you said that there are people, even if it's a small group of people, that are pushing this on kids.
Yes.
I'm asking you, what is that process? What is the process of someone pushing pushing transness, quote unquote, on kids? What is that
basically
process?
Brainwashing. I have seen
doesn't tell me the process.
many not just TikToks, but like videos. I have seen several documents, like recordings out there where they are, and parents even, telling their children and basically reassuring them, oh, you could be a girl dressed up as a girl. And like I said, that's an extremely small percent, maybe 1 to 2%.
Wait, so this isn't telling us how something is being pushed, right? You're
That's
just describing.
Yes, it is.
How is that pushing? Saying you
because
can
when a
be
parent
X,
is telling
hold on,
you,
Abby, hold on,
or
Abby,
you have a group of people telling you that it's okay, that is telling a child,
telling you
telling
it's
you
okay to be something is not pushing you to be that thing.
It
correct?
is. It's meant.
If
It is,
I
especially as a
Abby,
child, when an adult
Abby,
is telling you.
Abby,
Yes, that is.
if I have a kid that's like, I want to play basketball, and I'm like, all right, it's okay that you play basketball.
Okay,
am
well,
I pushing my kid to play basketball?
Are way completely different things.
Abby, I don't know if you understand.
Oh, I completely understand.
In a conversation, you have to let the other person speak.
But you're comparing basketball sport.
No, I'm not.
Changing your identity, your gender identity completely.
No, what I'm comparing is telling someone it's okay to do a thing is not the same as pushing someone to do said thing.
Okay.
It's okay if you eat meat, but I'm not telling you have to.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you.
So if I say to a child, it's okay for you to identify whatever way you want, that's not me saying you have to identify this way. So this isn't really pushing something on a child.
No.
So I'm going to ask you again, how is it being pushed?
That isn't what I meant.
Well, that's
saying
what you said.
Something like that is, I agree. I said it's a very small percentage, saying, well, that's okay because kids, how they'll play dress up, things like that. Of course that's okay. I'm not talking about people who do things like that. I'm talking about like a 1 to 2% of a very small group of, it's not just the trans community. It's different people. It's not just trans community. There's all sorts of people and parents.
Then I'm gonna ask you again to be very, very clear here, so I don't misrepresent you. Okay, but wait. So you're claiming it's being pushed.
Articles I can post to you.
I don't need articles. That's not what I'm asking you for, Abby. When I asked you very specifically, what is the process of this being pushed on kids? You said, well, it's people telling their kids it's okay to be a girl, right? They're telling their boys it's okay to be a girl. We went through how that would not be pushing. And now you're saying, well, that's not what I meant. Now, hold on. I'm walking back the exact conversation we just had. So if that's not what you meant,
exactly what
I'm going
I said.
to.
Can I speak up? Can I say something real quick, please?
I just want to ask you very clearly, what is the process of pushing it on children?
Okay,
what does that mean?
You did not state what I said exactly. You took some of it out. I said the parents, and I have seen several who encourage their child to be an opposite sex. Not that they're just saying, oh, it's okay to play dress up and things like that. That's the people I am talking about. And like I said, that is a small percentage.
Great. So you're saying there is a small percentage of parents who have a boy and are telling their boys, you have to be a girl.
No, they don't say they have to be, but yes, I have seen many interviews where I think the parents are mentally ill, and I don't know if it's they wanted an opposite sex child or what.
You just said they're pushing their kids to be a girl. So then
I didn't say all.
I'm not saying you said all, Abby. If you would stop talking, you would understand what I'm saying here. You just said there is a set of parents who are pushing their children, like they're pushing their little boys to be girls or pushing their little girls to be boys. So I asked you, I said, okay, so you're saying there are parents who are saying that their kids have to be this. Then you just said, no, I'm not saying that. So
no, I didn't say they have to be. I said that they encourage it.
What do you mean by encouraging? What specifically are they doing? Because every time I ask you,
they
you keep
encourage
saying,
it. They run out, they buy them girl clothes or vice versa, boy clothes, and they encourage the behavior. They take them to doctors to try to get them to, gender.
So they accept them.
No, that's not accepting.
How is that not accepting?
When they take them to a medical facility to get a sex change, that is not accepting.
Can you point me one child under the age of 17 who has gotten a sex change operation? One.
Only because that has been made illegal, but believe me, a lot of them would
No,
if they
that's
could.
not
Okay, so hold on. You just said they're pushing their kids by taking them to get sex changes, but now you're admitting taking their kids to get sex changes is illegal, so it isn't happening.
In
So
some
what-
states, it
Abby,
is.
Make up your mind.
In a good bit of states, it is. But there are still some
point
states
me
where
a child. Point me to a child who's under the age of 17 that had a sex
What
change
about the
operation.
hormones that they're giving these children?
Hormones are not sex change operations.
It alters your body. So,
That's
and
not
they're
what a
giving
sex
that to
change
children,
operation
which
is, Abby.
highly dangerous.
That's not what a sex. So if you want to move to hormones, we can. But like you just said, sex change operation. You just
Okay.
said sex change. These are two different things.
Whatever. It's hormones. Okay. Whatever.
so your issue is with hormones.
Hormone therapy. And
Great.
as a medical professional, I
Oh.
know for a fact that it's highly dangerous for anyone, especially a child.
Okay. Do you have?
And to
proof
me,
of
that's
this?
considered child abuse.
Okay, do you have proof of it being highly dangerous?
Look up any medical. It's highly dangerous
I
for
have.
any adult. It can cause cancer in women.
Everything can cause cancer.
Okay,
Eating too much
but
chocolate
Go
can
look
cause
into
cancer. So
hormone
what-
therapy and see, and especially
we're not new
just
to
for
this.
adults.
Abby, I don't know if you think we're new to this. We're not new to this, right?
Either am I, and I'm not ignorant. And
Okay.
this calling,
Highly dangerous.
calling naturally born women cis. We don't want
Oh,
permanents. We're
jeez,
women.
another fucking
We're
hit.
women.
Okay.
We are
Abby,
women.
Abby, I really need you to be. I don't want to move the conversation. Right now,
I'm
the
not.
conversation.
I'm telling you that hormone replacement therapy. Parents who encourage that.
Abby,
That
we
is
take-
concerning, and that is
Abby.
child abuse, flat out.
Abby, we take turns here, okay? We're not going to pivot
Well,
on
the
to.
turns
we're not-
are is you keep talking,
Abby.
you will let me respond.
You
and when I
literally,
keep cutting it off.
have plenty of time to respond. What are you talking about?
And you twist my words.
Jesus
So go
Christ. No,
ahead.
I ask you for clarification on your words. Ask me for clarification.
And
is
I
not
gave you
twisting your words.
clarification. I apologize about I messed up. I didn't mean to say the actual sex change. I meant the hormone replacement,
Okay.
the hormone therapy.
So your
That is
claim
highly
now,
dangerous.
the claim you're making now is that hormone therapy is highly dangerous.
It
Can
is.
you provide evidence?
Of course I can.
Okay, so please
Look it up. You can read it as well.
looking it up is I have looked up hormone therapy, and it has a very low rate of
Okay.
side effects. It has
Really?
a very low rate of negative effects past 5 years. Like I have looked this up. So now you're
I have
claiming.
a question for you,
Let
real
me
quick.
finish, Abby. Let me finish.
Can I
Abby.
just ask you a question?
After I'm
Are
done,
you in the
yes.
medical field? And if so,
You
how
don't
many
need
years
to
do you
be
have?
in the medical field to
Well,
look
see,
at research,
I am,
Abby.
and I've been in it for 25 years.
This is
and
just
I know
an appeal to
you're wrong.
authority, Abby. That's all you're doing. It's a fallacy. You don't need to
It's
be in
not
the
a
medical.
fallacy. It's
Abby.
experience. It's 25 years of medical experience.
Abby, you don't need to be in the medical field to look at research, Abby.
Exactly.
don't-
I've done my research.
So then provide me evidence of your claim that you're making
How
right
can
now.
I do that on TikTok?
Just tell me anything. Right?
Look
anything.
it up.
Look it up is not
Look
providing
it up.
evidence,
Do your
Abby.
own research. It's there.
Look it up is not providing evidence, my friend. I don't know what just happened.
Stupid TikTok.
Oh my god, why is it always look it up? Why is it always
That was so frustrating. I gotta fucking reset though.
Oh, they got Banuna'd?
Yeah. We weren't getting anywhere on that conversation.
If you want to make the claim that hormone therapy is dangerous, fine. You need to provide evidence that shows a statistical significance when it comes to the harms versus the benefits, which you're not going to be able to do because there has never been a study that shows this. And then I see a bunch of people in the comments like, well, the Cass report, Dr. Cass, the woman, literally came out a day after the report was published and was like, oh, yeah, no, we don't see an actual harm and we think people should still be able to get this care. Like, what? It's so frustrating, bro.
I know. And then just keep bringing that back up over and over again now.
I just tell them to read the transcript of the interview she did like a week after it was published where she walked back everything in the Cass report. Also, the UK didn't ban it. They just put it to a clinical model, which the US is already on. They just moved to the model that we already have been on since like what 2013, 14?
Yeah, long time. And yeah, because they required puberty blockers as a step in gender affirming care. And what was happening was too many like teenagers were getting put on puberty blockers when they were already like too far into puberty, and it wasn't doing anything. They should have never made that a requirement for everyone in the first place. So now they're giving it to people who actually need it. Imagine that.
I just want one person to answer a question like
I know.
Straight on.
She just pivoted to something else every time. It's just highly dangerous. But I didn't mean sex change. Didn't mean that. Huh. Anyway, I gotta reset. If you guys want to come back, I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Bye.
You got a violation. Bye. Thank you, Jamon. All right, let's do this again. Hello?
Hi,
Hi, how old are you?
I am 32 and pronouns are she, her.
Awesome. What's up?
So I just wanted to make a point that cis isn't a slur because it's literally just to determine whether like your gender identity, you're, not trans or non-binary or etc. And I feel like people are just completely misunderstanding that point. That it's not to change your identity as, being a born woman or however people want to put it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, and the thing is a lot of people trying to say, oh, well, people are pushing it on their kids. Yeah, sure. There are those people that, have a boy and wanted a girl. So they try to make that child be a girl because that's what the parents want. And that's not okay. Educating is completely different. I have a daughter and, I will educate her on whatever I can. And if she came to me and said that she was transgender, I would completely respect her decision, or I guess his decision, to be whoever they want to be. And I think a lot of parents aren't understanding that point, that if you have a child, regardless, you need to love and respect them and support them. Or it's going to create so many more issues in your family, but also just create more uneducated people in the world.
Sure. That's what we're talking about, just supporting kids. But all right, awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you. All right. So we are looking for people who disagree, who have a problem with being cisgender, or apparently we want to talk about gender affirming care for kids. I don't know why, but yeah, it's not a decision. She had her language a little messed up, but that's okay. She was trying. What's up? Okay, never mind.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I am 18. Soon I will be 19.
What year were you born?
What?
What year were you born?
What year? 2005.
All right, what's up?
Okay. How this is going? Will you ask me some questions, or I will just talk? How do you want this going?
Well, why'd you request?
I just want to say that cisgender and all of that stuff. I mean, in the 19th and 80s, eventually in all 20th century, there wasn't like it doesn't exist cisgender. Wait.
Yeah,
How to say? This,
Gender was.
I mean, this stuff is new, and I don't know how it's possible to be transphobic if you're just normal.
Oh, geez. All right. Cisgender was coined in 1994, so it was around in the 90s, and then before that it was cissexual, and then before that it had another term. So it's been around for a long time. Just because you weren't aware of it, I mean, you're 18, so you weren't even around.
Okay, you're right, but I don't think that you are transphobic if you just want to be normal. I mean, people in the 80s and didn't, how to say, they just said, I'm not gay, I'm not that, I'm not trans, I'm not drag queen or something
You're
like
not
that.
gay, actually, you would say that you were straight, right?
Yes.
So we usually use a word to describe something. We don't just say we're not something. So you don't say you're not transgender. You would say you are cisgender.
I would say that I'm normal. I mean,
Right.
in the Bible, there is no, there in the Bible, there is nothing that says that you are that there is trans or something. In the Bible says that it's actually a sin to try to cut off your.
Where's that? Wait, hold on.
Organs.
What verse is that, please?
What was okay?
What chapter and verse, please?
Wait, let me find it for a quick.
Okay, go ahead. It's fine. No problem.
How long do I have? How many minutes do I
You can
have?
come back. You can come back if you need to. If you need more time.
Do you want me to like hang out or to hang off or how? What?
Well, if you think it's gonna be a while, just leave and come back. If you can do it like in a minute or so, go ahead and do it now. It's
Okay,
no problem.
no. I will just hang up so you can talk with other people.
Okay, no problem.
All right. You should go look though where in the Bible that it says it's wrong. 'Cause-
I know where, but I can't. I don't know which verse is exactly.
Okay,
all right.
So-
We'll
that's fine.
look.
And also, at the end of the day, I don't care about that. That's someone's belief, but not all of us practice someone's religion. Good morning, Troy. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? How you doing, Matt?
All right. Okay.
It's early for you, right?
What is it? Almost 9? 9 after 9? Well,
That's early. It's too early. I'm not here for it.
I have shit to do. I'm going to lunch with my husband, so I had to do some stuff before. That's why I'm on early. All right. Oh, Jovan is back. Hello, Jovan. Let's see. Hey, Sean.
I wanted to say hi to Bish.
How are you?
Hi, Bish.
Hi.
It's sad without seeing you on TikTok that much there, Jovan.
It's done wonders for my mental health.
I
though.
know.
Right?
I know. I get
It
it.
has to. It has to.
Yeah. Hey, John.
Yeah, I have a question. Why does cis have to be put in front of everything with you guys?
Huh?
It's not.
Why can't people just be normal people? Why does it have to be cisgender this or they have to be cis that or cis woman or cis male? We're seriously. Why do we need that
You
label?
guys have fun with this. I'm gonna finish these dishes.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Why do we need this label? Why can't we just be straight people, gay people, and etc.? Why do we
Okay.
need that?
Wait, those are also labels, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
You want labels or not? Which one is it?
Why does it have to have? Why do we have to be called cis males or cis females?
You don't. It would only be if we're like. It would only be if we're
Insist
comparing.
on pushing that propaganda or pushing
Wait,
that bullshit.
is John? That's your name?
That's correct.
Yeah, it would only be if we're comparing or contrasting two trans people, right? If we're comparing or contrasting the experiences, the differences, the similarities between cis and trans people, that we would use those words. There's no reason to use the words if we're not doing that.
It shouldn't be brought up at all, in my opinion.
So if I have 100 women and 50 of them are cis and 50 of them are trans, how do I differentiate if I need to between them? What words should I use?
Wait. We can't tell the difference. We
What words would I use though? What words would I use? You don't want the word cis, so what word would I use to differentiate?
call them a female. And I'm sorry, I'm not. If you're trans, you're not female. I'm sorry. If you're not male.
What does being female
like,
have anything? We're
no.
talking about gender.
You want to put lipstick on a pig and call it something else, and we don't play that.
No, we're talking about gender, John, not sex. We're talking about gender specifically. So I'm not talking about what their sex is. I'm differentiating them based on their gender. So what would I call them to differentiate? If 50 of them are trans and 50 of them are not, how would I differentiate them?
What, you can't tell the difference between trans and straight people?
John, I'm asking you.
Well, no, I'm asking you. You can't.
Straight.
No,
Who's talking about
You're
sexuality?
asking me a question.
Yeah.
Wait, why are we going? We're not talking about sexuality. We're talking about gender.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, gender, sex, whatever. You telling me you can't tell the difference between a normal female and a transgender? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
John, I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand what I'm asking you. So I'll try to clarify a little bit. If I'm looking to talk about the differences between these two groups of people, and one group is trans and the other is not, what words would I use? I know that half of them are trans and half of them are not. I might even know which of the percentages are which. I might know which women are trans and which are not. So if let's say I'm writing a paper and I want to describe the differences between these two groups of people, what words should I use to differentiate them?
You would call them male, female, or trans.
But I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about gender specifically in this paper. How would I differentiate them if I'm specifically talking about gender?
So you're telling me that you guys only use cis when you're writing a paper? Come on, man, get out of here.
The word cis is only going to be used if we're I said this to you at the very beginning, if we're comparing or contrasting the similarities or differences between cisgender people and transgender people. If we're not, and we're talking about like women as a whole, I would never use the term cis or trans. If we're talking about men as a whole, I wouldn't use the term cis or trans. I would just lump everyone together into one group. But if we're talking about the differences or the similarities, we need to have words that categorize things. That's just how words work. We love categories as humans. We categorize things.
We don't need to be categorized as cis. We know we know what we are. We don't have gender dysphoria. We know what we are.
You don't have what?
We don't have gender dysphoria. We know what we are. You're not going to put we don't walk around putting pine needles on a palm tree and calling ourselves pine trees.
You've worked really hard on these
John, I think you still either you don't understand what I'm saying or you're refusing to understand what I'm saying.
No, I don't. Maybe I don't understand what you're saying.
What John is doing is proving the topic. That's it.
We as humans, our brains naturally categorize things. That's just how our brains work. So when we're categorizing things based on differences that we have, we come up with words for those categories. For instance, if I'm looking at the differences in genotypic sex, I'm going to look at males versus females. If I'm looking, though, at the differences between gender, there are different ways that we categorize this. If you have an issue with being called cis, you would need to describe exactly what your issue with that is, because right now it just seems like you don't like being associated with trans people, period, whether that is your cis or
only
not.
People that categorize us like that are trans people.
Every person categorizes.
You know what? I don't go outside and see somebody and say, "Hey, what's up, cis male or cis female?" We don't.
Neither do I. Neither do we, John. I've already explained. Neither do we. I've already explained the context in which we're going to use the categories.
I'm sitting
here. John, shh, take a breath. It's okay. You're gonna be okay, John. Also, you're saying that only trans people use that term. Javon, Mel, and I, all three are cisgender as well. So that's not accurate.
And I just want to point out, you made the claim that you don't categorize people, but you've consistently been categorizing this conversation. You said, well, there's gay and straight people. Those are categories. You said, well, there's males and females. Those are categories. You categorize people too. It's just this categorization you don't like. So you would have to substantiate why it's this specific categorization you don't like, but the rest you're okay with.
What?
I don't know how to be more clear in what I really don't know how to be more clear in what I just said.
I know, that was really perfect, honestly.
Is this you got the LGBTQ community and trans? Is this you guys are like? It's the best
We're using categories right now, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that's actually
I'm categorying like a mofo right now. You guys
are
Jehovah's Witnesses. You try to push your narrative on us, and then when we don't agree with your narrative, you guys get all offensive. I'm
You're
sorry.
the-
I have
you're
a
the one who-
problem.
John,
No, I have
you're
a
the one-
problem with the
John, you're the one, but
trans
John.
community thinking that 10-year-olds need
Oh, there we
beta
go.
This is
blockers.
not the. This is just a pivot from what
They
we're
need
talking
puberty
about.
blockers at 10 and 11 years old. You think that's
John.
normal? You know,
Yeah.
that's how
John.
you recruit because you can't have children.
John.
That's how you recruit.
Most 10-year-olds are not on puberty blockers.
Yeah.
You know what? Really?
Yes,
that's
really.
not going down at all.
I didn't
That's
say.
not
I
going
said
down at all.
most.
And there's
John,
no
John,
fight
I'm
with
very.
transgenders trying to
John.
stop your literatures in schools.
John,
You guys
I'm
are
being,
attacking kids. You think that's
John,
legit?
I'm being very
What, you don't
clear
go
on the
after kids?
words that I'm saying, John. I said
no, I don't
most
think you're hearing the words
10-year-olds
I'm
are not
saying. We're
on
sick
puberty
of the
blockers.
trans bullshit.
Are not on. That's what I said. I said most 10-year-olds. I didn't say that there are none. I said most. But John, I'm just going to be very upfront with a question to you.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if there's
should we
most
have
or
a
little.
word?
No 10-year. Hold on.
John,
No,
There
John,
we go. Go ahead. It's easier now. You're welcome.
should we have a word that's used to describe people who are not trans, John? Should we have that? Should there be a word that describes someone who is not trans? It's a very simple question.
Well, unmute you now so you can take a breath and respond. The invitation's on your screen. John, the question?
what? What was the question? I'm sorry. I wasn't even paying attention.
Should we have a term that is used to describe a person who is not trans?
Why do we need to have a term for that? Why do we need a term for that?
Because that's just how language and categorization works.
Really?
Do we have Do we have a term that describes somebody who's not Christian?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yes, we do.
What's that
Come on,
term?
as Gnostic. They're as
Okay,
Gnostic.
great.
They don't. Okay.
Do we have a term that describes somebody that's not black?
What?
Do we have terms that describe people who are not black?
No.
We don't.
No, we don't. What? White, Hispanic, Latino,
White,
what?
Asian,
Native American, what?
Hispanic.
Yeah.
We have multiple terms. We have so many of them. Do we have terms that describe people that are not tall?
I don't see your point here.
My point is, we have terms that describe what the opposite of things are, so we know how to categorize them. So tall.
Okay,
Sure.
and my point being is the only
Large,
people that call
small.
other people cis are the transgender and the LGBTQ community.
I'm just going to let you know the
don't go
term
around and say,
cis
"I'm
was
cis
coined
that,
by
you're
a
cis
cis
that."
woman.
I don't go up to somebody and say, "Hey, what's up, my black brother?" or "Hey, Latino," or come on. You're the ones that put labels on people.
John.
Oh
I'm going to
my
ask
God.
you. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to explain our position again so that you understand what we're saying. These terms are only used when we are comparing or contrasting the similarities or differences between the two groups. If I go out into public and I'm just randomly hanging out with a group of people, I'm not going to go, "What's up, my trans brother?" or "What's up, my cis sister?" Like, nobody talks like that. When we are comparing or contrasting two groups, we need words so we can differentiate the two groups. That's how language works.
I mean, John, when you first joined, you said about straight and gay right off the bat. So should there not be a word for straight? Should we just call you not gay?
I don't need to be labeled like that. I really don't.
You've
I'm not
used
being labeled
labels.
like that.
You've used labels multiple times in the conversation. You started with it. You've not stopped.
Oh my God, these faggots drive me fucking crazy.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
All right, John.
There
Well,
it is.
you were a dream for no one, John. I wish you a better life, but okay.
We were having a fine conversation. I don't know why you had to go to the slur.
We all know why.
Because of this.
And also homophobic, apparently, as well.
Listen, I get not wanting to be labeled, but you have to substantiate why past just, "I don't like it," right? That's not a good enough reason to say we shouldn't label people.
And if you're a person that doesn't like labels, then stop using them because he's used them nonstop. You're like, all right, that's good.
Use them. This idea that we don't like labels is silly. Like, who doesn't use them? Hello, Jody.
Hello,
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 51.
All right. What's up?
Oh, I love all of you people. I think we're all equal, and I support everything you guys are doing, and I agree with what you're saying. But I, as a straight woman, sweetheart, I don't want to be called cis, straight, bi, or trans. I just want to be called by my name. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you guys are doing the labels so that way, if my granddaughter comes up to me, a transgender woman, and she can say it right. But I personally would rather just be called by my name and not a label, because I think we're all equal and we're all beautiful. And we should all be treated the same regardless.
Sure, but you also said you don't like labels, but then identified yourself as a straight woman, right?
Right, I am, but I don't want you to come up and say, hey, straight woman, and I don't tell people I'm straight or anything. I just tell them, listen, I'm me, just call me by my name. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to put me in a category, nor do I want to put you in one. I just want to walk up and say, hey, ma'am, how you doing? Or by your name. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to label you guys, is what I'm saying.
Sure. When has someone walked up to you and said, hey, straight woman?
Because several of my friends, they're but you'd have to know us, though. I mean, I've got a lot of friends in the gay community, and I love them, and I support them, all what they do, but they're always teasing me. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay, but I see what you guys are saying, and I agree with you. So don't think I don't. So that's not the argument. I just wanted to come on and show support to you, and show some love.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Keep in mind that no one's using those terms like normally, without. So if your friends are joking, saying, "Hey, straight woman," but people are using the conversation. I mean, the words of cisgender to describe the difference between cis people and trans people as
sweetheart. Not to interrupt you, but I'm a lobbyist for a lot of different bills and rights, and that includes your guys' rights. I was just at my Capitol the other day about it. I hear a lot of negativity and a lot of name calling to you guys, and I know that a lot of get hurt because of it, and it's so wrong. What I'm saying is, we shouldn't put labels on anything because we're people, and that's how we need to be seen, and that includes you guys.
How do you write those bills?
Yeah, we couldn't write bills to protect groups of people without labeling those people.
There's labels, yeah. It's in the bill labeled like that, but I don't feel we should have to why should we even have to make a bill for that? Why can't we all just get along? Because at the end of the day, regardless.
Targeting groups.
Yeah.
We've been doing that since the beginning of time.
Yeah, that's why we that's why we labeled. Well, I would disagree that it's gotten worse, but that's why we label people, right? Like if I'm writing a bill to protect trans people from discrimination, how do I write that bill without labeling people as trans?
You wouldn't.
So how do we protect them legally?
That's a question I asked my senator the other day, and he looked at me like I was stupid. So if you can come up with that answer, please DM me your thing, and I'll take it to my senator.
I don't think there is an answer, though. You're the one who said that we shouldn't label people, right?
No, we shouldn't because of your safety. But if we write a bill and we put a label to you, it's going to target you even more. If we don't put a bill that says what you are, you're still going to be targeted.
Okay,
my concern
is
a
question about that then.
Yeah.
How did we write amendments allowing women and black people to vote without specifying that women and black, like that those amendments were for women and black people in the Constitution? Like how do we do that? How do we write like a civil rights bill without mentioning the targeted group?
That's the problem with society. We need to get over all of that and come together as one. United we stand, divided we fall. And every time somebody puts a dumbass label to something, they're dividing it, and that's making it worse. You're not bringing us together. And not you guys, so that was the wrong word to use. Us as human beings, I understand we need categories, but sometimes we need to come up out of that box and quit categorizing everybody, because that's where the racism comes in. That's where the hate's coming in, and that's where everybody's getting hurt. And
Jody,
our children are seeing this.
Jody, I do appreciate that, and I like the sentiment, but that doesn't answer the question.
It did answer the question, so don't confuse it and don't twist it, sweetheart, because I do fight for you, and I've been doing this. So don't.
No, I'm not twisting it.
Okay, so don't stand there and try to contradict everything about you and making it a label. All I'm saying is we don't need labels.
Jody, but again, it doesn't answer the very specific question of how do you write legislation without using these labels. That doesn't address that.
Put it in there. There is no need to have a label on something. It's simple as that. It don't take a rocket scientist.
Jody. Okay, so let's go from personal experience. I'm a black man, right? For a long time, I was not able to sit at certain water counters or water fountains, and then like lunch counters, or I had to sit in specific spots on the bus. How do we write bills that say that I can do these things without specifically saying this is to allow black individuals to do these things?
You write a bill and you put it in there that all the people are able to sit anywhere. Why would you want to put it in there, a black man or a black woman or a white man or a white woman? When I advocate for 90% of my guys are black, and they are from low income, they are being targeted left and right. And I stand proud and stand 10 toes down for anybody.
You just
that's what my org is about. But I don't feel we need labels.
Jody, bills targeted to address systemic oppression and using labels to talk about the groups being systemically oppressed is not oppressing that group.
I feel it's targeting you guys to more harm than it is good.
How?
If I got to explain to you why the gay community is targeted for hate crime, then I don't know what to tell you.
No, that's not. Hold on, that's not what you said, Jody. You said mentioning in the bill these groups, even if that bill is meant to protect these groups, is going to do more harm than good. So how is labeling a group in a bill designed to protect said group from discrimination, how does that do more harm than good?
It is. It's just not doing good at all. It's still not protecting you guys.
Jody, you have to explain why. You can't just say it's doing something and then not explain.
Okay, our bill is not protecting any one community, regardless if you're labeled or not. It's still got hate crime out there. You still got people that are targeting you, regardless. If I put that bill in and says you're going to go to prison for whatever because you're targeting a specific group and it's considered a hate crime, do you actually think the person that's committing that crime is going to give two shits about that?
Jody,
no.
Jody, with all respect, that still doesn't answer the question.
Yes, it did.
No, there wasn't. You didn't answer my question at all. Jody, if somebody commits a hate crime, right? How let's say somebody attacks a gay individual, right, for being gay. How can we prosecute that as a hate crime without legislation saying that it's a hate crime to target somebody who's gay?
We already have them bills in. That's why we have the problem we have. That's what I'm saying. Why do we got to label anybody, period?
I can't. Bish, go ahead.
I got nothing. Honestly, we're asking you very direct questions, and you're not answering.
And I gave you a very direct answer.
Jody,
what part of that did you not?
There we go. First of all, don't take the passive-aggressive, nice, sweet, angry thing with me. It's not going to work out today. Just please don't do that. We asked you really specific questions, all right? And instead, you're answering with what the world ought to be. Well, it's not there. And I wish it were. But we're asking you directly, how do we write the bills without using categories? You haven't answered that. We asked what harm can come. You haven't answered that. You told us, well, I stand with your community. Well, great. And then you've also said, I stand with the LGBTQ. I stand with different communities. You've used labels and categories yourself, but you're not answering the questions. Can you please answer the questions? How do you write the bills without using category names, and what harm comes? Answer those two direct questions, please. And you have the thing on your screen to unmute.
Should be a box that's covering like half of your screen.
Yep.
We can't write a bill like that.
You can't write a bill without adjectives.
No, yeah, without labeling someone, because you're right. Then how would we know who to protect and who not to protect? But all I'm saying is I wish we could go and do it without having
Right, but you
to
recognize
do all of that.
Right, Jody, you recognize that we can't?
Do what?
Do you recognize that we cannot?
Cannot what, hon?
Like, we have to categorize.
Yeah, we have to categorize. We have to, because if not, how are we going to keep it protected? All I'm saying is I wish we didn't have to, because I would rather just see you as a person and not as in a group. You know what I'm saying?
I wish
We
that
all should
too.
just get along.
I wish that too, but that's not where we are, unfortunately.
I know.
I really wish that was the case, Jody. I do.
Right, because you said right in the beginning that everyone is equal, but do you recognize that in the society we live in that everyone is not treated equally?
Yep,
Okay.
I sure do, and I agree with that 100%. We're not.
Okay.
You got more that's more privileged than the others, and you got more that's got more protection than others.
Exactly, and that's why we need to be able to categorize the people who have privilege and the people who don't.
I agree with that, but all I was trying to say is I wish we didn't have to, because of some are more acceptable to get hurt than others, and it's just to try to to protect them, and till we can figure that out, we're where we're at right now having this conversation because of it. And as you see from the one guy, he doesn't quite get the whole concept and whatnot. I do. I might not express it like I'm supposed to with you, but I know what I'm trying to do is to protect my family and my friends that are transgender and that are gay.
Which is a label.
Their safety is my main concern, and I love them for every rainbow color there is, baby. And I support them proudly. And I would hurt somebody over them. But we just
Awesome. Thank you, Jody. Got it.
need to build that or something that where we don't have to go through all of this. And if you guys can come up with something, shout out to me on mine, and I'll sure take it to.
Awesome. Sorry, I don't want a violation for that. Okay. I'm glad we finally got somewhere.
All right.
Because the way that it should be is different than the way that it is.
We all wish we lived in that world. Unfortunately, that's not what's happening in reality. We're having marginalized communities targeted, and that's you don't solve it by saying "I wish." And I wish we could, but we can't.
All right. Anybody who in the box? Let's see. We are looking for people who do not like the adjective cisgender. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Mel.
Hi. How old are you?
My age?
Yes.
35.
Okay, cool.
So, I'm coming back to something. I don't know if it was one of these two that were in the panel with you saying about the source for the hormones and the risks and the effects. So,
We know
that's
that
why they are banned in the UK at the minute.
We know that there are risks to taking hormone replacement therapy. The guest claimed that it was extremely dangerous or something along those lines. That was different.
Yeah, but they can be though. I mean, I've got.
Can you expand here? I want to see what what's
female, and the biggest one for me is the infertility. That
okay.
I mean, obviously, other medications can cause, like the pill can cause, blood clots and things like that. But the biggest one is the infertility, and that's why they're now banned in the UK.
They're not banned.
For under 18s.
Hold on, real quick. They're not banned. They're just on a clinical model.
And
They moved to a clinical model, which is what the US has been on for like 10 years.
But this is also talking about feminization hormone therapy, feminizing hormone therapy. Were you referring to puberty blockers? Those are different things. Laura.
Well, we can even talk about like HRT. Like these are like the types of complications here. Like first of all, the big thing is complications can include, right? It's not a guarantee that you are going to experience these complications. But the other side is like aspirin can give you complications just as bad, if not worse than this, right? So when we're looking at gender affirming care, especially medical care, it is a risk benefit analysis that a parent does for their children. So you do a risk benefit analysis, and if the benefits outweigh the risks, you do it. If they don't outweigh the risks to you, you don't. But to make the claim that like, oh, because their side effects means we don't do anything is in my opinion, it's a little disingenuous, especially when the rate of those side effects is not as high as people tend to think they are.
Yeah, and there's also other ones in this particular. This is just like just a random source from the Mayo Clinic. There is others where, with the mental health as well, hormones, male to female, have been known to cause like mental disorders as well, mood disorders, severe depression, osteoporosis in the bones, all stuff like that. It's not just physical, but this particular source at the minute is just looking at the physical sides of stuff. But there's also a lot of, like for example, the pill in general.
Just really quick, all of those risks and benefits are on the consent form. They're on the form when you consent to your child taking HRT. These are not things that are hidden.
Yeah, but unless it's for early onset puberty in girls when they have like their periods at like 9 and 10, I feel like that's the only time that a child should ever be put on that. And for, what is it? Is it like for a year or two max? Parents that are signing that, because I know like you do, children, and I'm not saying all trans children do, but some trans children do change their mind because they get told they're trans when really they've got other stuff going on.
Yep.
Okay, can I read you directly from a study about like the detransition rate?
It is low. It is low. It is low.
So when we're claiming that there's a couple of things I want to address in there. When we're claiming that they're changing their mind, the language being used there is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because the detransition rate sits at like the high end 3%. At the high end, if we're being really generous, right? It typically tends to sit much lower than that. Like the largest study we've done on this, which is a 6-year follow-up of it, shows that like only 1% of youth specifically who were prescribed puberty blockers or hormones detransitioned. 1%, and that 1% was 2 people. Right, that's the largest and most thorough study we've done on it. The other thing I want to mention is when we're talking about like, hey, it's okay that kids who are precocious puberty go on these drugs, then that means the side effects aren't our issues with them, right? Because if the side effects are negative, the side effects should be negative no matter who's taking it for what reason. So the minute we go, well, some people can take it and the side effects are okay with them, then it's no longer about the side effects of the drug. Like, just logically, that doesn't track.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like the worry that I have, and obviously, like Mel has mentioned that her daughter is taking hormones, is if she gets to her 20s and develops serious complications through the hormones that they're on, is that going to cause like a regret? Because they have been known, there's not a lot of research at the minute, but they have been known to cause a lot of what's the word, when you can't undo the damage. I can't think of the word.
We actually have a
irreversible.
ton of research on regret rate. There's a 50-year longitudinal study on specifically on bottom surgery. And that 50-year longitudinal study shows that only 2.2% of people over a 50-year period regretted their bottom surgery. Now, you're not having bottom surgery if you're not also on hormones, by the way. Like, you're going to still be taking hormones. There are other ones, too, that I can point out to you if you want me to. But, like, we have actually a lot of research on this.
Yeah, and really quick, since you addressed my child, Laura, hold on. Since you addressed my child specifically, she's not just on hormones and never getting any checkups until she's in her 20s, right? She has to go into her endocrinologist every 3 months and get blood work done and make sure.
At least that's good.
Yeah, of course. Why would we not follow up?
Yeah, I I just worry though, if you're gonna regret the decision though in the future if it does cause severe irreversible damage, like, and she wants to have children and she can't, and all that type of stuff. That is the concern, because
and she's been aware for the last 2 years that that is something that could affect her fertility. This isn't, again, these are things that we're informed
yeah,
of.
to be fair, like I mean, even when they put children on like psychiatric medication as well at a young age, like the side effects from all that type of stuff as well, you know, it opens another, what do you do in that situation as well? Because in an ideal world, I wouldn't want any kids taking anything like that. But unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world and decisions have to be made. And I just hope that I'm not in that position, because I don't know what to do. I've got, you know, research saying this, you know, the UK have now banned, as far as I know, hormones under 18s.
They haven't banned them. They just moved to a clinical model. They're not banned. And even Cass, the writer of the Cass report, literally had an interview. Let me pull it up. She had an interview like a week after.
It wasn't long.
It was like a week after the Cass report came out. Where they specifically say, let me find it right now. Does Dr. Cass believe puberty blockers are unsafe drugs? The Cass review report does not conclude that puberty suppressing hormones are an unsafe treatment. The report supports a research study being implemented to allow prepubertal children to have a pathway to accessing this treatment in a timely way and with suitable follow-up and data collection to provide the highest quality of evidence for the ongoing use of puberty suppressing hormones as a treatment for gender dysphoria. In the data that the Cass review examined, the most common age that trans young people were being initially prescribed puberty-suppressing hormones was 15. Dr. Cass's view is that this is too late to have the intended benefit of suppressing the effects of puberty and was caused by the previous NHS policy of requiring a trans young person to be on puberty-suppressing hormones for a year before accessing gender-affirming hormones. The Cass review report recommends that a different approach is needed, with puberty-suppressing hormones and gender-affirming hormones being available to young people at different ages and developmental stages alongside a wider range of gender-affirming healthcare based on individual need.
Is that with the private sector? Because I know the NHS, you cannot get them prescribed on the NHS in the UK.
Well, so you can on a clinical basis. The Cass review basically said we need to move to a more clinical model of doing this, as opposed to the way the NHS was previously doing this. So right now the NHS is moving to a clinical model, which is a lot more similar to the way that the US has been doing things for a while.
I've read like the source where it says like the NHS have banned hormones for under 18. So when
what
that was like
source is
about
that?
2 months ago, I read that.
No, hold on. So no, they didn't ban them. Again, what they've done is they've moved to a more clinical model of treatment. So it's going to be more clinical and more research-based model. A lot of headlines have said banned, which is...
I can't comment on that because I haven't read anything about that. I just read the article that said that they have banned them for under 18s. Obviously, they've shut down the Travis Centre as well because of the poor care they were given as well.
Because of what?
Because of like the way the poor care was. They weren't doing the gender affirming care the way they should have been doing the gender affirming care, so that's why that got shut down. But I have not read anything, and obviously I live in the UK, about them not being banned, so I can't comment on that. But
I mean, you would just have to look at the NHS's their specific like what's it called statement on it. I can try to pull it up for you if you want. Where is it?
You know, because I say this because obviously, like, I was on the pill for 4 years, I think it was, and I didn't even realize like the effects like the pill has given me, and I actually regret ever taking that pill. I wish, like, and I was informed about all that. I was informed about it. They don't just put you on the pill and say, I will give you this pill. I was informed of it, but when it actually like affects your mental health and your physical body, I think looking back, I wasn't given the full information. I didn't go and ask people, have you been on this pill before? And that's what I just worry about when parents are making decisions for the children when they're putting them on hormones under the age of 18.
Right, but when you talk to other people and their anecdotal experiences, it's not necessarily going to help. That's why you look at evidence. You don't look at anecdotal experiences. Because would you, based on your experience, would you say to ban all birth control?
Not all birth control, but with the pill, I don't think people realise, and the women that take it as well, just how bad it actually is.
I took pills for years, and they were very beneficial to me. I didn't have any issues, so.
Yeah, that's great. Mine was more with the risk of not the blood clots, the other one, the thrombosis.
So you would say to ban
and my mental health, like my mood. No, I think there should be, with the pill as well, I think there should be other ways to do birth control than just the pill. Personally, but I was never offered anything but the pill.
Yeah, that's just your experience, right? I've been on pills and I was on the NuvaRing. There's a patch, like there's tons of things.
Exactly. I wasn't given the option of like the coil or anything like that, but with my mental health as well, like the mental health side of that pill, I didn't even realize, like I didn't put 2 and 2 together till about 3 years in, because I just thought, oh, this is just, I'm at that age now in my 30s, depression's gone bad, mood's gone bad, the mood swings, everything, the crying. I didn't actually put the 2 and 2 together. I came off it and I'm doing so much more better. And that's the thing that I often worry about now is when parents are making a decision for putting children on hormones, I just hope they don't regret it. That's my concern.
Well, luckily with hormones though, it's a more thorough process. It's not just like putting you on birth control and then it's up to you to check in. They actually do keep monitoring children. So.
But also, just again,
yeah, well,
we have the research.
I don't know about the gender affirming care, but that's good that they do that. I just got a yearly blood pressure check and a weight check, and that was it. Sorry for interrupting you then.
No. I just want to reiterate. We have the research on this. So there's a study. It's called Re-Identification with Birth Registered Sex in a Western Australian Pediatric Gender Clinic Cohort. What this shows is that over a 6-year period, 93.1% of desistant cases happened before any drugs were prescribed. So like the people that desisted did it well before they were prescribed drugs. And of those that were prescribed drug, by the way, the 93.1% of desistant cases was 27 of the 552 cases studied. Of that other amount, so 552 minus 27, so about 525, give or take, only 1% of the rest of the cohort in this study desisted after being prescribed any puberty blockers or hormones in a 6-year follow-up. So like we keep having, like, people keep saying like, oh well, there's no evidence there's no studies, but we have she left.
Yeah, she said she had a connection, but she said it in the comments. But yeah, I know, we hear that all the time. I actually use that study now too.
I saw someone asking for the 50-year study. It's called An Analysis of All Applications for Sex Reassignment Surgery in Sweden, 1960 to 2010, Prevalence, Incidence, and Regrets.
Thank you. Ready? Hello?
Melzy?
Fire? Jesus. What was that?
I apologize. That was me. I was backing up.
What?
That beeping noise was me backing my ass up.
Shut up. All right. Didn't I already talk to this person? I don't remember what they said.
Hello.
The slur, because I forgot already.
Hello.
No, he was getting the
I
Bible
already
verse for
talked.
Dish.
Oh, yeah.
No. I come back. Okay. I have one question. Can you say why you think that if you're not cis that you're transphobic?
Oh, yes.
Can I see your thoughts about that, and can I listen why you think in that way?
Sure, Mel, you want to take that?
Sure. All right. Well, it actually says you're either cisgender or transgender. So if the adjective cisgender describes you and you recognize that, but you reject it, meaning you're not going to accept that that adjective does describe you, your reasoning or lack of reasoning tends to be rooted in transphobia.
Okay. I have another question. Can you tell me what is gender?
What is what?
What is gender? Gender.
What is gender?
I know what
It depends on if you're asking gender on an individual basis or a societal basis, because they would be two different definitions.
Okay, what means when gender when you're talking about transgender? Is that like I am how to say? I'm sorry because my bad English because it's about language barriers. So
You're okay.
I'll just give the details that it's gender can either mean your subjective perception of your sex and how that sex is oriented in your body, or it can mean the behavioral, the physical, behavioral, or psychological attributes of the sexes, which is like a more societal term. Typically, when we say trans or cisgender, we're talking about the internal, so your perception of your sex. And transgender would mean that your gender identity disaligns with the sex that you were assigned at birth, whereas cisgender would mean that your gender identity aligns with the sex you were assigned at birth.
Okay, I have another question. I mean, it's not about transphobic. I want to because I think that Jovan is from Balkan areas, and I think that if I talk in my native language, that Jovan could translate that. If you know what I mean. Jovan, where are you from?
I'm from New York.
I mean, Jovan is like that, like Serbian name. Jovan is typical Serbian name, so.
I was named after Cologne. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
Cologne. I love that. I wasn't named after anything cool.
Okay. Do you think that if I'm not supporting LGBTQ and trans, do you think that I'm transphobic or homophobic or something like that?
I think if your lack of support is rooted in bigotry, yeah. If it's rooted in some sort of dislike of the group simply for being the group, then yeah.
Then yes. Okay. Can you tell me why always that people that are supporting LGBTQ, why they reject religions?
Not all do.
Yeah, I know plenty of people who are on the LGBTQ spectrum that are highly religious.
Can you tell me how can you support something that is not normal? I'm sorry because I use the term, but how do you?
So normative language kind of doesn't really work here because what is normal is just dictated by societal, the societal pressures put upon people, right? Like I don't know how to classify normal, right? I can classify typical. And I can clearly support an atypical thing, right? Like it doesn't have to be typical to gain support, but I just tend to avoid normative language because it paints this negative brush. So when you say it's not normal, I don't know what you mean by that. I'm surrounded by LGBTQ people all the time. So to me, that is normal, right? Normal is a very subjective word.
Okay. Jovan, are you religious?
No.
Why?
I have never felt, touched, tasted, or smelled God, or heard God. So therefore, I do not believe in a God. So therefore, I am not religious.
So you are atheist.
Yes, I'm atheist.
Okay. Have you ever tried like to be religious or to?
For a very brief period in my youth, until I read the Bible and went, "Ooh, that's kind of messed up," and then I stopped being religious.
You just read Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's paused. I don't really want to get into a religious debate, though. It's
We're off the app. We if you can't see me, I can't hear you. So
Okay. Wait for a bit. So
read something or what?
okay, I'm glad we'll be here for us.
I think he's looking at something.
Johan, do you have Bible in your home or something like that?
I mean, I have a computer with access to any version of the Bible you want to read. Yeah.
Type Genesis.
How's this say religion again?
I mean, I'll if Mel doesn't mind, I'll go down whatever rabbit hole we're going down.
I think we don't really have any other options.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, type Genesis 1:27.
Okay, is Genesis?
If you don't-
Which version of the Bible? New King James okay?
What?
Is New King James okay? Is that an okay version of the Bible to look at?
Okay, I mean every quote is similar, so
Yeah, it says so. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him, male and female. He created them. Okay. I don't understand what we're doing, but okay.
okay. How do you think that if someone is transgender, could be from male to female or female to male? I mean,
Trans people are
Bible-
still male or female, so God would have still made males and females.
Okay, how? I don't know how.
It
to
just
say
says God created male and female. So trans people are still male, and there are trans people that are female. So God still created them male and female.
Okay. Type disco.
You should write them down.
Deuteronomy 22:5.
Which one?
I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 22:5.
Deuteronomy 22:5. Okay. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. A woman shall not wear anything that pertains to a man, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all who do so are an abomination to the Lord your God. Okay? What about this? What about it?
Okay. All I want to say that LGBTQ is, I don't want to sound rude or something like that, but I think that LGBT is like.
Can I just ask, do you follow every other law of Deuteronomy 22? Or is it just that one?
What?
Yeah, do you wear garments of different sorts, such as wool and linen mixed together? What about when you plow your fields? Do you only do it with an ox and a donkey together? Like, do you plow with an ox and donkey together? Because if you do, that's also against God.
I'm sorry, English barrier, language barrier.
Yeah, so picking and choosing, what I'm trying to say is that picking and choosing Bible verses, we can do this all day. The Bible condones slavery, right? But we don't do slavery anymore, right?
But but in the Bible, Christians don't how to say, they don't follow anymore Old Testament rules. They are following some. They are still following some, but not the all.
Deuteronomy is an Old Testament rule, so then we should ignore Deuteronomy. So
Not
the verse
really.
you said, which is that men should not wear women's clothes and women should not wear men's clothes, we would ignore this because this is an Old Testament ruling.
But let me say something. In the Bible, most of the quotes are allegory. So, do you know what allegory is?
Yes, I know what an allegory is.
Okay, in the Bible, most verses are allegory. So you don't have. All I want to say that you don't have to literally have to how to say, think that how it is written. Do you know what?
I would disagree that the Bible is an allegory. In 1 Timothy, it says
No,
all
I
Scripture
said
is.
some
Hold on.
verses.
Hold on. Yeah, no. In 2 Timothy 3:16-17 specifically says, all scripture is God breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. So it's literally saying that every scripture, it's not an allegory, all scripture is from God. All scripture in the Bible. That's what 2 Timothy states.
Yes. Okay. You can look quotes of the Jesus. He said that every how to say I don't want every, but most of his words are also metaphor way or allegory. Wait a second, my friend is something.
All right.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
No, I will. I have to go in the 7 p.m. So we are. No, you know.
Can't wait.
Okay, I'm here. So, can you repeat, Johan, what you said?
I said that the Bible specifically mentions that all scripture is God breathed, whatever the word is. But like, so that what that's saying is that all, like every scripture, right, is directly from God. It's not allegory. It's directly from God. All scripture.
No, all I want to say, you're right, but let me give an example. Jehovah's Witnesses. If in Bible it says that it's sin to kill, so if they were attacked, and only way is to not be dead is to kill, not to kill, but to defend yourself. And if you defend yourself, you can actually accidentally kill someone. And if you are in their position, they will just wait before they got, how to say, beat up or killed.
Because you guys say unlocked with me. I'm sorry.
I'm so confused on what this has to do then.
Same.
So all I want to say that, how to say, Jehovah's Witnesses are, I can't remember what word. In the Bible, Слушай, ovako. In the Bible, Jehovah's Witnesses are. Can I go to the translator, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Oh, that's what he's doing. That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of effort to put into this TikTok live, honestly.
Good.
I'm here. All I want to say that Jehovah's Witnesses, they take everything seriously. I mean, not. I mean, how to say?
I mean, I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that Jehovah's Witnesses would be the people who take all the scripture as word, where everybody else would take it as an allegory. Correct?
Yeah, not. I mean, not as allegory, also as a metaphor. I mean, allegory is a similar thing, but not the exactly.
Yeah, I would just disagree with that because, like, again, scripture dictates that it is all directly from God, right? So I would just say if we're looking at Christianity, anybody who's not following everything as direct commandment from God would be going against God, since again in 2 Timothy he says that all scripture is directly from him.
Yes, you're right, but how to say? I want to say Old Testament is, you don't have to. In the New Testament, they reject some of the quotes of the Old Testament, so you don't have to follow anything. But they still have, how to say, they still they still take some quotes from the Old Testament.
Sure, I think I think that using religion to oppress anybody is silly in my opinion, because the Bible is just ripe with contradictions.
Can you tell me every not magical thing, but every whole things, like if you if you know about some people, how to, like some priests have gifts on the same spirit, they could heal people. I mean, can you tell me which? Can you tell me your reason what how to say Christianity is wrong?
My reasoning for Christianity being wrong?
Not wrong, but why you reject Christianity?
Because God says slavery is okay in the Bible, and I disagree with that.
But that's
so I don't believe an all good, all just God would think slavery is okay.
You don't think that God is how to say good?
Not if he condones slavery, no.
But slavery is Old Testament. Like I said,
the Christian Bible specifically states that God is never changing. So
what?
He would still hold his same beliefs. He doesn't change.
Okay, but also, do you know why Jesus come to this world? Do you know why? Why?
To absolve us of our sins, but I don't think that doesn't
No, I want to say that he didn't come to the. I mean, that's one part of the reason. But God didn't want to have humans because most of the humans were sinning. They were so bad, and Jesus was that guy that gave us another chance to be how to say. He gave us another chance to forgive our sins, because if Jesus didn't come, people would not exist anymore.
So God used to be okay with slavery, and now he's not. I don't like people that used to be okay with slavery either.
But
just because he changed his mind, that means it's okay.
Not to change his mind, but I'm sorry, English barrier is so. I don't know how to translate. I mean, if I.
I'll just lay this out very clearly. God specifically condones slavery. It's in Leviticus 25, verse 44 to 46.
Which book?
Every single one of them says the same thing. All English translations, anyway, all say the same thing.
Read me one quote from the New Testament.
This isn't New Testament.
Which book?
So this is New King James, Leviticus 25, 44 to 46.
Which number?
Leviticus 25, verse 44 to 46.
Okay.
As for your male and female slaves, whom you may have from the nations that are around you, from them you may buy male and female slaves. Moreover, you may buy the children of the strangers who dwell among you, and their families who are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall become your property, and you may take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them as a possession. They shall be your permanent slaves, but regarding your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule over one another with rigor. So, God specifically says, as long as they're not from Israel, it's okay to have them as slaves. Have them as slaves for life, and their children, and you can pass them down to your children. I don't view this as a moral God, so I would not worship said God. So have
you read the whole book? Not whole book, but whole head of that verse.
Yes, Leviticus is specifically God giving Moses rules for the Israelites.
Okay, but let me tell you something. Moses, okay. Years between beginning of the world and Moses are 2,000 years. And what to say? Difference between years and Jesus is also 2,000 years. So, all I want to say that also in the book of Revolutions, when Jesus came to this world, they also reject those things, some things.
But again, God is never changing. Malachi 3:6 literally says, "I am the Lord, I change not."
What is Jesus? Jesus is God.
Is the Lord.
Jesus is God.
So then if God changed, then that is the contradiction in the Bible again. So why would I believe in a book rife with contradictions?
Okay, let me
can I just really quickly, if you want to follow me, we can continue this conversation, but like we're so off topic now that we're so far past the original topic.
Okay, you're right. I mean, I will.
I guess he's trying to say that you should believe in God, and therefore it's not okay to be trans or gay.
Okay,
God,
Johan,
therefore
I followed you,
it's
so
not okay to be trans or gay.
if you want to discuss some things,
I followed you, so nothing worse than an echo. I don't know why that would have given you an echo, but all right, cool. Bye.
Someone said God retconned. So funny.
That is
Hello,
Hello, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Cool, what's up?
I don't agree with the statement behind you.
Okay, why not?
Well, let's say, for instance, right, transgender people, they don't like to be called a certain way, the same way I don't like to be called cis. Even if you use the word cis in front of woman, it doesn't change the fact that I am a woman. And in a way, you are ignoring other people's feelings, and that's just selfish of the community in itself.
the irony of you saying that.
I have had a lot of thought about this, and I have nothing against transgender people. They can be whoever they want to be.
But
Nothing wrong with that. But the thing is,
there it is.
the thing is, you can't just go around calling people something that they don't want to be called. All right? It is just.
Can I
it's
ask
just
her the
the
question?
same
Can I ask her
way.
the question?
It's just.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm gonna let her finish first. I just want to ask the question when she's done.
No, go on. You can ask the question.
Okay. If I have a group of 100 women, half of whom are trans and half of whom are not trans, what word do I use to differentiate them if I'm talking specifically about their gender identity?
Well, trans women and then women, because.
Oh, but I have no problem with trans women.
But
Sorry?
hold on, but trans women are women, so when I say, well, I have 50 trans women and 50 women, I would still have 50
Transgender
women.
transgender women are transgender women. That's it.
Oh, there it is.
You cannot.
So
and
we're
let
right.
me explain myself why. You cannot be the other gender, whether or not you do as many surgeries as you want. You can still never be an actual woman. You cannot actually go through women experiences that I go through on a daily basis. That my mom goes through on a daily basis. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The community talks a lot about.
Hold on, there we go. Okay, steamroller, stop. Can we address things you're saying or no?
Sorry?
I would just ask her what a woman is.
A woman is me, for example. A woman is
Cool,
male.
that was an example. I didn't ask for an example of what a woman is. I asked what.
Really quick though, trans women aren't claiming to be cis women. So
No, transgender women are claiming to be women and then
not cis
calling
women.
us cis women. That doesn't make any sense, okay?
Sure,
I
what's
am
a woman?
whether transgender women like it or not.
Okay, what is a
That's
woman?
it. Sorry?
What is a woman?
A woman is me. A woman is someone that was born a girl, and obviously.
Okay, what's a girl?
Why do we have to go?
Because you're claiming you're saying.
You're asking questions.
Okay, so hold on.
Biology has answered you a long time ago.
No,
you can't
biology
just come
actually
in
disagrees with
here
you, Joanna.
saying that because I don't want to be called a cis, I'm transphobic. No, because at the end of the day, I am a woman, whether you like it or not. And transgender women are transgender women.
Joanna. So you said that women have female genitals, is what you just said. That's how. Except genitalia is not a sex determinant trait. So
it is.
No,
what are you
it's
on
not.
about?
Genitals are
Oh
not
my
sex
gosh.
determinant.
It's funny how
this is
society has
biology.
become and how stupid a lot of people
Joanna,
have
can
become.
I give Joanna?
And
Okay,
quite
stop.
honestly,
Joanna,
I have
Joanna,
other stuff
stop.
to do.
Joanna,
so
stop.
I'm just gonna
Stop.
go because
Joanna, stop. You're gonna run because you don't want to have the conversation. Let me explain to you on an actual neurobiological level. Genitals are determined by your genotypic sex. Genitals do not determine your sex. They are not a sex determinant trait. Like what? This is biology 101. All genitals do is genitals can make it so that you can what's the word I'm looking for when you see something? Observe. Genitals are observant traits of sex. They're not determinant traits of sex.
Oh no, she ran.
I
called that one.
I can't believe after like a year and a few months that people are still like this topic.
I just
We're not transphobic, but
the U.S. education system failed so many people when they convinced people that like penises and vaginas are what tell you what your sex is. When you only get a penis if you have an expressed SRY gene. Like, it's determined by other things. They're not the determinant factor of sex. That's why they're phenotypic.
And the thing is that people are arguing, like they're literally arguing that they're trying to say that trans women are claiming to be cis women. That's why they go with the whole fucking down the whole female thing. You don't have a period. They're not claiming to be cis women. That's another reason why using the adjective would be very like important. And it would.
I just want to point out. I think it's so funny that you're calling me transphobic because I don't like the word cis. Like, no, we're calling you transphobic because you deny the identity of trans people.
Right. It's all the other shit that you just said. That's just an indication. When you reject cisgender, it's an indication that you have multiple other transphobic opinions. Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been wondering about this since I first came. So I'm a trans woman, and I'm not cis, but based off the way this is phrased, does that make me transphobic? I've just been wondering.
No, it's color-coded. So if you're not
okay.
cis,
I didn't...
No, you're fine. It's funny, though, because people that it does apply to, they figure it out, right? Like, the cis people that come, I'm not cis. Yeah.
I didn't think about it, but there's been many people I've seen come up that some of the points they've made are just completely idiotic, and I do agree with you, Javon and Bish, on most of this. I mean, like, so you said you have a trans daughter. Is that right, Mo?
Yeah.
How old was she when she told you she's trans?
13.
Okay. I think it was one of the early ones that when I first came across this live. I think Abby, I think it was. She was trying to say something about parents forcing this on their kids, but it's like a child can tell you what their gender is as young as 3 years old.
Yeah.
So, and then like people were talking about Jazz Jennings, but like she told her kids and she told her parents about her being a girl at a very young age, and her parents accepted it and put her on let her go through the puberty.
Someone brought up Jazz Jennings when I said to provide. I was like, can you give me an example of somebody who had a sex change under the age of 17? And they were like, Jazz Jennings. I'm like, Jazz was 17 and had stated that she didn't regret her surgery at all, and that she loves the body.
Another example of someone who transitioned young is what's her name? She played Nia Nal in Supergirl. I can't. Damn it. Nicole Maines. But again, she only went through HRT until I think it was about like 17 or 18 where she had the actual operation. I wish I was able to transition younger, but
there's actually been a lot of evidence to show that the wait period has actually like negative side effects. I wonder if I can find.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's for trans women especially, there are some pros and cons for transitioning both at a young age and at an older age. Obviously, for older, you have to. For trans women like myself, I didn't start transitioning until I was 28. I'm now 34. I'm still struggling with voice feminization. Having to find a way to pay for facial hair removal.
The voice feminization is tough because it's the one thing that you really can't reverse without like vocal feminization surgery. But I don't think
that's not entirely true. I mean, there is a way to train your vocal cords to where you get higher pitch. There's multiple trans women who have done voice feminization without surgery.
Oh, I agree. You can train your, but like the way vocal cords work, they're only going to have a certain threshold. Like, like that's just vocal cords in general. Like you can train them to hit to speak in a higher timbre, but there's a threshold that it's never going to go past if you go through like male puberty. There's just a limit in vocal cords, which sucks for a lot of people, but especially if you're trans, because. What I've seen of like vocal feminization surgery is it is still pretty far off from not that we can't do it, but just the results have appeared very far off to me from what like, people would prefer their voice to sound like.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree that testosterone fucked up my voice, and it's made it quite difficult trying to train it back, especially
because it literally thickens your vocal cords, right? Like,
that's why like when I say testosterone fucked up my vocal cords, and it's a permanent thing. Like I can like try to train my vocal cords to operate at a higher pitch and sound more feminine, but I've been struggling to do that the last 6 years since I started transitioning.
Well, because it hurts to speak. I only know this because I literally have singing training, so I'm trained in understanding vocal cords. But it's painful to consistently speak in a high timbre. It actually damages your vocal cords if you don't do it properly. So it's just another reason why we should allow kids to not have to go through the puberty they don't want to.
That's what I've heard too, especially if trans women try to use like YouTube videos to voice train, that some of those actually can damage your vocal cords more than help.
Yeah, that's why
I would recommend any trans person if they want to train their voice to please go to like a professional vocal coach.
Yes, do not go to YouTube.
Don't mess up your voice.
Especially considering I'm also wanting to make it so I have a permanent Irish accent. My name on here, Saoirse. I chose that when I started transitioning, partly because I wanted a name that reflects my Irish heritage, but also because it means freedom. So as a out and proud trans woman, it kind of hence poetic irony.
Nice.
But,
that's one thing that worked out, beneficial for my daughter getting
puberty blockers.
Well, she was past the point of puberty blockers, but she did get to start HRT at 14. And her voice did start deepening, but it didn't get like too far where she's been able to like adjust it where she's how she can speak. So
I was getting to that. I was starting to get that awkward like cracking phase.
A little bit,
Stop it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and that's one of the things that's actually very beneficial that people. The thing is that most people when they stick with the age of 18, it has to do with their own personal reputation and not about their child's.
Right.
They want to be responsible.
Like I said, I wish I could have accepted and accepted myself when I was younger, but it took me until the age of 28 to accept the fact that I'm a trans woman.
Yeah.
And as someone who has a transphobic mother, I want to thank you for being supportive of your daughter. That's seeing a parent who is accepting of their daughter, for me personally, is really amazing, and I freaking love it for that. I love you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do feel like more parents should be accepting, right? And that's the ultimate goal of this platform. Sometimes I do argue this topic, though, to kind of get away from talking about kids day after day after day, because it's really exhausting. So
yeah, can understand that. There was so many arguments I got into with my egg donor after I started transitioning, and some of the things she said, like, it's fucking disgusting, and I don't believe in it. Just, like, all I'm doing is trying to align my body with how the fact that I am a woman.
Exactly.
Javon wanted to ask what was trying to ask the last person before me, what is a woman? A woman is how do I want to phrase this?
It's a hard thing to.
Yeah.
It is. And it's so different.
I have a definition.
Who you are, as far as your gender is internal. It's how you view yourself. You cannot change your gender. That is one point I will agree with on people who say you can't change your gender. But what they're really trying to say is you can't change your sex. And
yeah, gender is just your subjective perception of your sex and the way that sex is oriented in your body. That's how it's defined in like neurobiology. And then when we look at, so for me, if somebody asks me what a woman is, I say it's an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the female sex.
Yeah.
It's a non-circular definition that describes basically anyone that would fit in the category and does not have any exceptions for people. It doesn't leave anybody outside of the category.
Right.
You got a violation during this conversation.
Who
did?
Me.
What?
You weren't saying anything.
For hate speech.
No way. No.
Nothing I've heard you say has been.
Well, I don't know. That whole thing of supporting your child was kind of fringe.
Oh yeah.
How dare you, Mel?
Support your child, you hateful woman.
Sean Adams, you are here every freaking time I'm live. Every time I'm live saying crazy shit in the comments. Because you mean. Yeah? Am I today? Really? I've been like doing makeup and chilling, you know?
Bro, I just read a comment that makes no sense. Someone said trans women are women, but women are cis women. What? No, trans women are women and cis women are women. Like you guys just try to be offended. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. All right. I only have, I don't have too much left. Well, too much longer left to be live. I guess I will give it one more reset, see if we get anything.
Yay.
Y'all be good on the reset. I gotta go work on some stuff.
All right. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for letting me come up and speak, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you too.
Yay.
All right. It was nice seeing you around again, Javon.
Yes, Javon.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for hanging out. All right. I'm going to reset. I'll be right back. All right. Let's tap the screen and share the live. Also, I started a new antidepressant yesterday and I am like excessively sweating right now. I'm like, is it related to that? Probably, because I don't usually just randomly sweat. So that's fun. Love side effects, my favorite.
Yay, sweats.
Ugh. I had such horrible, when I changed antidepressants before, I went through, I think 5 the first time I tried them to find one that worked, and now I'm changing them again, so I'm
doing the juggling game, trying to find the right thing.
I hope I don't go through a whole, freaking process again.
Right.
But, I am, badly sweating right now. Anyway, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
32.
Okay, cool.
I'm just curious, I don't have any problem with using the word cis, but I am just wondering why do we use the word cis and not biological? Can you educate me on that? Or biologically?
Do you know the meaning of biological?
Well, for me, I would assume that would mean from birth.
It just means living, right?
Okay.
So trans women are also living women.
We are all biological, every one of us.
Okay, that makes sense. I saw somebody in the comments earlier write it, and then it made me think, and I was like, actually, it was a good point, and so I did a little bit of Googling just quickly. Nothing really came up. to give me like a definition. That's why I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna ask you guys to give me an answer and educate me on that.
It really just doesn't explain what people want it to explain. And actually, when people use biological, it's kind of similar to the topic, right? It's another reason to just reject cisgender, but understand that there needs to be a way to differentiate between trans women and cis women.
It's
they have understanding, they just refuse to use cis, they want to use something else.
It's a way of dehumanizing, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Why is it so hot in here today?
Oh my God. I feel like I need like an ice pack.
You too? I mean, and we're in very different climates, you know? Okay, it's the temperature's normal, so I'm the problem.
If I go like this, right? The front of the cap is right here.
Nicole, you're on.
The words are gonna be like this. Okay.
You're on, Nicole. Yep.
I'm having a whole conversation.
Nicole, if you want to join, come on back in, but we don't want to hear all your stuff right there to be safe, you know? Let me tell you, I've joined by accident before, and sometimes you're saying things you don't want to say to the internet, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I try to be really careful. If I'm just watching, I will put it in picture. So unless I'm like really interrupting, because I don't want to accidentally request. Hello, Liz.
Hi there.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 35.
Cool, what's up?
Yeah, so I'm just, well, in terms of specifically this prompt up here, if you're not cis, you're trans. From what I understand, like, didn't trans people like fight to be called like trans and then the gender that they identify as? Like, and so why is there a need for cis?
I don't think they fought to be trans or to use the word trans. Yeah. I think they're supporting, speaking out for their identities. But we use the descriptors whenever we're having conversations to be able to differentiate people for the purposes of the conversation. So to use Joe Vaughn's example, if there were 100 women and 50 of them were transgender and 50 of them were not, we would have a word to describe the ones who are not. We wouldn't say not transgender, because in no other area do we say you're not this. You wouldn't say with gay and straight people, you wouldn't say, well, they're not gay. There's a word, straight, heterosexual, there's words that exist. All it is a word to be used in those spaces when having those conversations. That's all.
But why couldn't you just say women?
Because trans women are also women. They have different experiences than cis women, but women, it's another type of woman. They're women as well.
Right. Woman is the noun, and cis and trans are the adjectives.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I understand that. But, well, okay, for me, I would say trans women and women. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone would know what I was talking about. I don't think that there would be any misunderstanding on that.
There is, though, because you're saying that trans women aren't women, and that's just not true. Trans women are women.
Or trans women are trans women.
And cis women are cis women, right? There we go.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, I need a fan.
Same. Well, thank you, Blue Eye. I appreciate you.
Like almost time to take another one, and now I'm like, ugh. I hate getting through the side effects phase to see if they're going to go away or not,
Ooh, I start my new medication today, too.
Ugh.
Thank you again, Blue Eye.
Sorry, my husband was yelling at the cat. So...
It's the menopause. It is not menopause. I literally just had my hormones tested.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's literally the new medication I just took. Anyway, sorry. I got distracted by that.
Listen, does that make sense, though, like, why we're saying that? I mean, you're not having these conversations in spaces, again, that are just like going to a restaurant and saying, or every daily conversation, hey, sis, what's going on? You're not doing that. It's being used as a descriptor when differentiating between trans women and cisgender women. They're both women. It's just a different descriptor, different adjective.
Right. No, I understand that. I guess where my issue comes from is, so I was very much on the like, I guess you could say progressive left side of this for a long time. And and I started to research it after I sort of lost a debate with somebody over this.
Okay.
And what I found, and it really gives me absolutely zero joy to say this, was not in support of, I guess you could say, I mean, I don't like calling it an ideology. I don't know what else to call it. Of this ideology.
It's not an ideology. Okay. Yeah, it's some of the also the propaganda language people like to use. They say it's just an ideology. It's not. It's someone's existence.
Literally.
Well, I don't know what, like, sure, but I'm not just talking about but I'm not talking about the existence of trans people. Like, that's not what I'm against, right? It's for lack of a better word, ideology surrounding it.
But that, it's not an ideology, so we can't use that word as a descriptor when that's not what it is. There's no ideology. So what are you trying to say with it, though? Let's go that direction and see if we can help get to that.
So this is not, so for example, your major dictionaries, your Oxford, your Merriam-Webster, etc., did not change the definition of the word woman to include trans people until 2021 and 2022. That is indicative of a cultural shift, right? So what I'm talking about is the cultural shift surrounding all of this, which has only been in the past decade or so. I mean, we can't deny that.
The cultural shift. Which cultural shift?
Around the medicalizing of what we consider to be gender dysphoria, around the use of the word cis in front of as the adjective to describe women. Those are all relatively recent phenomena. Those aren't
really not.
Yes, they are.
It's becoming more popular of the political conversation, but it's not something that hasn't existed. It's just been, this is the current target for many conservatives to try and marginalize another group, as they've frequently done in the past. But specifically, I'm sorry, I had a point to something you're saying. My brain went in a very chill mind.
Well, I was just going to say cisgender was coined in 1994, and before that it was cissexual, and before that it was cisvestite. So this is not new. This is actually not new at all.
But it's not been in the popular lexicon until the past few years. I mean, and this is and in terms of like Gen Z, for example, the population who consider themselves not cisgendered, I mean, that's skyrocketed in the past few years.
What?
There's no denying that.
Yeah, what does that mean? What does Gen Z have to do with people
Gen Z, not cisgender. Please explain.
understanding an adjective?
No, what I'm talking about is, again, for lack of a better word, this ideology. And
I'm going to stop you again. It's not an ideology. Please stop saying that. We can use a conversation about that.
So like, okay, what are we going to call it? Transgender. Gender affirming care.
Transgender people.
But I know transgender people have existed for like, that's not what I'm saying.
They just exist in society. There's not any type of ideology or ism.
But not in the numbers that they do now. Like in the number of people who are identifying that way has skyrocketed.
No, there's not been a significant increase. There's been a slight increase, right? But it has to do with the same thing as like the increase of left-handed people in the past.
Yeah.
It didn't mean that more people are suddenly left-handed. It's that we stopped saying that being left-handed was a problem, right? It was destigmatized, therefore people can just be left-handed.
Right.
It's the same thing with trans people.
No, but I disagree with that, because even in the CAS review, it said that like the.
Did you read? The CAS
yes,
review.
I did. Yeah,
okay.
I have.
Did you read the follow-up? Her interview about the CAS report?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Did you read her follow-up about the CAS report? The author, what she said about it.
Dr. Hillary Cass's?
Yes, what she said in an interview about it. She walked back her statement saying that people were misinterpreting what she said in ways that were harmful to trans people. People were misinterpreting her study.
Right, but I did not misinterpret it.
She misinterpreted her, okay. The shit that she wrote, right, was misinterpreted. And you are repeating the stuff that was misinterpreted.
I have not said anything yet, so how could I have misinterpreted? How do you know what I'm misinterpreting?
Why are you bringing up the cast review then?
See, but exactly, you don't know what I'm about to say.
We do because we hear. Let's go ahead and say it's fair. But we frequently hear the same points. But go ahead and say it, and I would like to be proven wrong. But it's okay. That's fair. Go ahead and say
Okay,
it.
what I was going to say was that she had cited studies that said that early affirmation of a gender identity can be, in some cases, harmful or influential on the person's development of a gender identity as they move through life, and that can cause gender stress that wouldn't necessarily be there otherwise. So, in other words, this model that we're using now can potentially be harmful / influential to children in ways that might not be beneficial.
I didn't see her saying that, but I can look at. I only saw the stuff about the hold on.
Yeah,
It's not even like true. So the thing is, and I'm going to look it up, but you have had multiple points that are against trans people. You're against cisgender. You're not viewing trans women as women, right?
You're an ideology.
You're now against transgender. Gender affirming care for kids, and you oh shit, there was another point, but I forgot it. But that's
the ideology repeating thing.
yeah, saying ideology. Oh, making a claim that there's like some massive increase in trans people.
These are literally talking points that are used to dehumanize and stigmatize people.
Thing though, you're saying that they are harmful or that they're dangerous, but are they false? Because they're not.
Yes, they are false.
They're not, though.
It's not okay. Well, then I shouldn't have had to tell you 6 times it's not an ideology, and you keep using it for a 7th, right?
But I keep telling you, I understand that word ideology is not a word.
Then stop using it, maybe.
Right,
right?
but what I'm telling you is, for lack of a better word, ideology. I'm not like that's what I'm saying. I know you don't like that word, but like let's
problematic.
Let's that though.
It's not about us not liking
that though, because you know what I'm trying to say. We're going to focus on the word ideology.
It's not about us not liking the word. It's that word is problematic. Also, Dr. Cass is not a good person to be citing on this anyway. Dr. Cass made a claim that corn can make you trans. That's not true. Watching corn, right? There's nothing to back that up.
Well, wait, so did she say that her research was being widely misinterpreted in ways that were harmful? Which would be like, lending credence to your side of the aisle on this, or is she a quack who makes stuff up? Which one is it?
She did walk back specifically on gender affirming care for kids on some of the aspects, right? She recognized that saying things about puberty blockers and stuff were misinterpreted, so she did clarify. But she has also said some pretty wild shit. Why are you just going by one doctor versus the medical consensus of the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society,
American Psychiatric Association, American Medical Association? There are actually 32 organizations.
The American Academy. Okay, so you're talking about the American Academy of Child and Adolescent
Pediatrics.
Pediatrics.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. You mean the one that's funded by the same?
There we go.
Liz, can you stop pretending that you give a fuck about trans people, please?
I'm not pretending anything. I care about facts.
I don't believe that you do, because you're using like all these talking points from a bingo card, frankly.
You're saying that they're talking points that are harmful, but are they false? You're not proving them false. You're just saying they're harmful.
They are false. Okay, how many times would you tell you to stop saying ideology, but you keep saying that? These are false. You're making these claims that are literal points that are used against trans people for simply existing. And they are false. They are false and they are harmful.
That doesn't mean that they're false, though.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they're false.
What is an ideology, Liz? What is an ideology? What is an ideology, Liz? We're going to make it real easy.
So that's what you're going to focus on?
I'm going to hold you accountable for words, yes. Because you keep using it. So what is it?
So you just want to talk about.
I want to talk about one point.
The word ideology.
I want to talk about one point at a time. Yes.
Yeah, we'll tell you why ideology is problematic.
So what is an ideology, Liz?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if you're going to use the word, I mean, what is it?
So let's deflect from everything else and just focus on the
We're not deflecting.
usage of the word
multiple
ideology.
points. We're not deflecting. You've given multiple points. We're going to address them one at a time, but for some reason you keep running from this one. Why is that? Just answer the question.
Do you not know what ideology is? We can tell you.
Because I feel like this is so besides the point.
Okay, so you made the point, and you can't say that we're deflecting whenever you're running away from the question, right? So, it's okay if you don't know, but what is an ideology?
Oh my God.
Do you not know?
It's okay if you don't.
Great, we can tell you. Bish, do you have it up?
Give me 1 second, I'll move over to the computer to get the actual proper descriptor, so I'm not going to misrepresent. Ooh. So I had a cat on my lap.
Oh, so you called up the definition, so you didn't know. Okay, cool.
I know.
Okay, let's go over what you said.
Right, we want to make sure that we are saying the entire thing.
I said I don't misrepresent or use a part of it, is what I said. There's nothing wrong with being accurate, is there? Is there a harm in that? I didn't mock you for not knowing what it was, because I want to make sure I'm saying the correct way. Did I mock you for that? No. I said, do you know? And you said, I was trying to deflect because you wouldn't answer the question, which is actual deflection. So, if we can have the conversation, an ideology is a system of ideas and ideals, especially one which forms on the basis of economic or political theory and policy, like the ideology of democracy. It's not ideas and ideals to be transgender. There's nothing that makes it an idea. You have an idea of being transgender, an ideal of being transgender, right?
But would you say like the different care models surrounding?
Can you address what I said?
What do you mean by that?
The different care models surrounding.
We'll talk about the care models, but I'm not going to let you run away from it.
Ideas or
transgender healthcare
deals.
Like sorry, you cut out.
Great. So answer Biss questions first, and then we'll move on.
What is the idea or ideal before you have a conversation? What is the idea or ideal specifically?
Yeah. So the idea or ideal would be, for example, have you heard of the healthcare equality index?
The healthcare equality index? Yes, but what's that to be an idea or an ideal?
So the healthcare equality index is a series of truly like arbitrary. It's like a scoring rubric, let's say, that gives hospitals and other healthcare facilities a score based on how well they conform. Right.
Yes. So,
and it's put out by the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, right?
Mm-hmm. What does that have to do with trans people?
I bet that doesn't answer the question about how is the
because
index an idea.
Because it all has to do with trans healthcare and gender affirming care. Like that's what it has to do with.
Talking about healthcare, you were just saying that trans people are an ideology.
Right.
I didn't say trans people. I said no. I didn't say people. And I specifically said I'm not talking about people.
You were referring to trans people when you kept saying ideology.
So
no, I didn't. That's the thing is I kept saying I'm not referring to people.
About gender affirming care, Liz.
Yes, we have.
No, we haven't.
No, I'm going to stick with addressing this one for you. So you said about the healthcare equality index, right, from the HRC. How is a organization evaluating the healthcare that people have access to? How is that make transgender people an ideology?
I never said. That's the thing is I never said people were an ideology, and I specifically said not people. I'm not talking about people. I specifically made that distinction.
So what are you talking about? What is
I'm telling you what I'm talking about.
We haven't even talked about gender affirming care. We haven't.
Yeah, we have.
Cisgender, right? We were
talking. And then I started talking to you about, first of all, the cast review, and then you wanted to walk it back and talk about ideology, and then talk about something I didn't say, which was that people are an ideology. I never said that.
Okay, Liz, before you started talking about the cast review, you were referring to the group of trans people as an ideology.
No, I wasn't, and I specifically
yes, you
said,
were.
No, I'm not. I specifically said.
Let's give you the opportunity to correct that then. So what specifically? Okay. Well, that's not what happened, but okay. What specifically then is the ideology, since you chose to keep using that word? What is, if not trans people? What is the ideology?
So what I was just trying to tell you, Like, would you say something like the Healthcare Equality Index?
Your claim was not that the Healthcare Equality Index is an ideology. That's not what you said.
And I didn't say people were an ideology either.
We were speaking about transgender people, and you kept using the term ideology. So what were you using it for specifically?
And I specifically said not the people, but then I started to say, like, all of this has marks a shift in recent years for what has been the norm for most of
all of what, Liz?
The use of the word cis, the implementation of the Healthcare Equality Index.
Use of the trans ideology is what you said when you were talking about this. You didn't just say this. You said trans ideology.
And I specifically said I'm not talking about the people. I specifically said that.
Okay, but you're trying to now say that which
For lack of a better term, like,
and also a study, not a study, but an organization that evaluates the access of healthcare is also not an ideology by your own claim on that one, right? It's the HRC, the Human Rights Campaign. They do evaluate the healthcare that's available in different states and different areas, and give an evaluation of that. And how is that specifically an ideology? Because that's what you're trying to claim next. So how is that an ideology?
It is part of the ideology.
So what is part of? Can we stop dancing around things? What is the actual ideology then? What is the ideology?
The ideology is the ways in which, like, our public consciousness and our policies and the way that we use language has shifted in the last few years around this.
A shift is not an ideology, right? Can we just concede, because this is a going around, can we concede that your word of a harmful word, ideology, was used incorrectly and is not accurate? Do you concede to that?
No, because, like, read the definition of ideology again. How does that not align with the
you
word
would have
ideology?
to demonstrate that it is, because an organization measuring healthcare is not an ideology, people existing is not an ideology, nor is a shift in cultures and attitudes an ideology. No.
And it's becoming a very politicized issue. Like this was not a politicized issue, like, however, 20 years ago.
It was. It absolutely was. Yes. There have been laws against trans people for a very long time. There have been more introduced now because of harmful rhetoric like this. Yeah, right? There have been more introduced now, but yes, trans people have been discriminated against for a very long time by law. This isn't new. People have used LGBT as a whole for a very long time, and trans people were included in that, and they were included in the laws against people.
So, and if we can go back, what I was trying to tell you was, in the Cass review, she specifically states.
So we're going to pivot again. We're not going to address the ideology. You want to pivot away from that, right? I need you to concede and just acknowledge that you were wrong on that, because you have yet to demonstrate how this is an ideology. And I'm going to hyper focus. It's part of my attention. You know, I hyper focus on things. So I need you to quantify, I should say, how is transgender, or what about transgender is an ideology, because you have yet to do that. And you've used it multiple times, which is why I'm hanging on to it, because I will clutch on and not let go.
So then, okay, I have, yeah, honestly, I have demonstrated that to you. Read the definition again.
I did.
And tell me how that is not an ideology.
You have to qualify how it is. I don't have to prove a negative. You made a positive claim.
And here's the thing too, is we didn't even, like I said, the dictionary definition of woman did not change until 2021 and 2022, depending on the dictionary you're talking.
Here's the thing. Your request for a pivot has been denied once again. I need you to answer the question. Okay? I need you to answer, Liz. You said that you did, but you did not. I asked you about an ideology. You first said people. You denied that you said people. So you tried changing the conversation on that. Then you went to the HRC and the Equality Index. I asked you how an organization evaluating healthcare is an ideology. You couldn't support that one. So then you moved on to saying a shift of ideas and attitudes, right? So you went to that again. And that is also not an ideology. I will, per your request, read the definition one more time. I'm glad to do that. An ideology is a system of ideas and ideals, especially one which forms the basis of economic or political theory and policy. How, again, specifically, is being transgender, or what are you claiming is, for that matter? Because you've now changed it 3 times. You went from people to an organization to a shift, and none of those are ideologies. So what is it? Let me know.
I don't know, like, I'm not sure where we can go from here when I specifically, before I knew that ideology is a charged word when it comes to this debate. I know that, which is why I said I differentiated in the very beginning that I am not talking about the people. And now you're sitting here and saying that I was originally referring to people as an ideology, and I specifically said that's
you're talking about.
I'm not sure where we can go from here if you're going to deliberately misinterpret what I said.
I've asked you multiple times what you're talking about. You keep changing it. So which is it? What are you talking about? What specifically is the ideology?
What is the ideology?
Yes.
Is the fact that dictionary definitions are changing, the healthcare model around gender affirming care and gender dysphoria has changed.
That's
right?
not an ideology. That's not an ideology.
Great, Liz. Why do you think that's an ideology?
You don't think that that's an ideology?
Are you driving?
No.
And you don't think that that?
Liz, are you driving?
No.
Okay.
And you don't think that the shift from a biological definition of woman to woman is an idea, woman is a feeling.
Just transphobic.
That is not an that is not ideological.
Well, just transphobic talking. This is all just bullshit. Is what you're saying right now. Like I talked to you about left-handed people, right? You're refusing to actually understand. You're against cisgender. Like, yeah, I don't know where to go from this either because you don't want to have a conversation about anything.
But you're not actually attacking the talking points. You're just saying
I literally did.
and that's transphobic.
I literally did. I've been hanging on to ideology, and you will not answer it directly because everything you've said is not a definition. Does not match the definition of ideology. Every single.
I disagree. I think it does.
How?
Because it matches the definition of ideology. Like what? Yes, a system of ideas. This is yes.
How?
What's the system? Oh goodness.
I disagree. I absolutely disagree. I think it matches it perfectly. So we disagree on that.
Okay, you're wrong. You're correct. So okay.
You're wrong.
Here's some examples of ideologies. Right? Communism, conservatism, environmentalism, fascism,
socialism, Marxism. Those are all ideologies.
Those are all ideologies.
Every one of them. Transgender or shift of opinion on people is not the same as any of those, right? That's not a system.
Yeah, it's just like this. There's the system of healthcare and the ways in which it. And that's why I give you the
healthcare is also not an ideology.
That is why I gave you the healthcare equality index example because what they're doing with that. Which is funded by the same people who make the hormones and the puberty blockers, by the way. Those are the same people who came up with that index. Yeah.
I love a talking point. That was frustrating, honestly.
Oh my God. She's just
capitalism.
Again, proving the topic.
Capitalism, communism, socialism, healthcare. What? One of these things is not like the other. That's not it. It's not it. All right, so having a good day. How's everyone doing out there?
Oh my God. I'm going to go have lunch with my husband. My designer was supposed to come, which is why I cleaned this morning. And then I just checked WhatsApp and she actually said she can't come till Friday. And I missed that message. So I guess I cleaned for myself.
Maybe you should clean your house, Mel. Maybe you shouldn't be on lives. You should be cleaning your house.
Did this morning.
I've been cleaning the entire time. My house is getting sparkly from my conversations today.
Anyway,
Randy got the reference. I'm sorry. I got excited. Randy, I appreciate you for getting my Sesame Street reference because I'm an old bitch and I'm here for it.
What did you say? Oh, one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. I love that song.
That is so frustrating. You know what? I haven't ran this topic in a while, and I'm going to do this one a little. I'm going to mix this one a little bit more in with the kids because after a year and a half, I still can't believe the amount of people that are still just rejecting an adjective. It is ridiculous.
There's always a reason every time.
It's not about the adjective, guys. It's not about cis. You don't actually give a fuck. You don't.
But there we are. Everyone having a good day today? Do something good for yourself, a little bit of self-care, because once again, reminders, we're getting ready to leave. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, so everyone, no matter who you are and what you may believe, please take care of yourself, do self-care, check in on those around you. Mental health is very serious. We want to live in a country, hopefully, that will have less stigma around mental health and be more supportive of people and more kind. Start there. It's easy to do.
Exactly. And also, what plan to use what? WhatsApp with your designer? That's sus. Why is that sus? I don't get it.
People message on WhatsApp all the time, but okay. Okay.
I don't know why.
Hawaiian. I mean, I'll go to Hawaii. I haven't been to Hawaii yet.
Me neither. Me neither. I'm not a birthing person. I'm a woman who can give birth. Okay, great.
And that's right, Callie. You are absolutely that term probably doesn't apply to you. There's nothing wrong with that.
You can use whatever term that applies to you. Right? And cisgender, if it applies to you, there's no reason to reject it. Ooh, awesome, Cameron. All right, I gotta go because he marked out this slot from work. So
I have to go clean my patio furniture. Oh, gross.
Ooh, yeah, that's not fun.
No, 30-second cleaner. Have you ever used that stuff?
No.
It will eat the face off of something. Let me tell you. You spray that on there, and it's 30. Yeah, you do it twice to be fair. So I guess it's 60-second cleaner. You spray it on there, hose it down. It's delightful.
Is it like that, like wintry? What was it like? Not slime. Like staining mold. I don't know what the hell it is.
It's like bleach times 150.
No, I mean, what's the stuff that's like on the chairs? Because I live in the desert.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're like, we don't know what winter is. Yeah, it's just like dirt from pollen and leaves and winter and snow and everything else. Well, only the table didn't make it inside. Usually, I put everything inside for the winter, but that table is heavy, and I was not going to do that and go downstairs and around a corner. And no, thank you, I didn't do that. But yeah. All right, beautiful humans.
With your cleaning of patio furniture, I'm gonna.
After I do that, I might do a makeup live today. I'm feeling maybe.
Nice. I'm glad I did makeup today. It makes me feel better. Sometimes I just don't do it because I'm lazy. All right, those of you, if you guys need something to watch, Baby Bop is live. I don't know what's going on over there. But if you like a high energy live, go see Baby Bop. She's amazing. So anyway, see you guys later. Bye.